Should ambitious students take the ACT, the SAT, or both? I'm Mark Greenstein of Ivy Bound, and I want to make sure people recognize, especially people in states that channel their students to one or the other and don't seem to pay attention to the fact that both tests are equally good conduits. They are. The ACT is equally accepted as the SAT, and it does have some advantages. So especially to those who might have discounted ACT, please hear me out. Equally good as conduits to college admission, equally good as conduits to high scholarships for your parents. So the ACT has stayed almost the same for 25 years. Very slight tweaks. The SAT has changed twice already in those 25 years and is about to do it again in 2024. Now, both tests are coachable, but a tried and true reverse engineered ACT, that's what we at Ivy Bound do. All tutors do. Once we see a series of release tests, we know what they're looking for. We know how to help students succeed on that test. And ACT is now boilerplate. The SAT is going to change, at least in format, to an online test and somewhat in content. Doesn't look right now like a lot of changes in store, but students studying for the SAT in 2023 who choose to take it in 2024 will at least have to deal with the online aspect instead of the paper and pencil. So there will be fewer tried and true strategies, at least initially. We'll catch up. But if you're in the class of 2025, you might not want to catch up and don't even have the time to let others catch you up. Taking the ACT thus has the advantage of consistency, and for many of you, it has the advantage of just being a better test. It's you who like science, or at least don't hate science, don't fear science. You'll find science tested on the ACT, not high-level physics, chemistry, biology that takes an upper class course for. Basics from 7th and 8th grade, and then reasoning from those basics. That's how ACT tests its science. And the advantage is especially strong if you're a student who doesn't like grappling with English from the 18th and 19th centuries, because the SAT will have one or maybe two of its 5 passages are Old English, harder vocabulary, a little harder for moderns to follow on. ACT takes fairly modern passages from the 1950s and more recent. So that can be a little more comforting. ACT is therefore not dwelling on tough vocabulary either, nor do its reading comprehension sections ask for nuances. Now, nuances are coachable. They'll show up on the SAT reading. But if you don't want to play to those and don't feel good about picking that minutely better answer over this minutely worse answer, ACT might be better. And finally, if math is your weak point, the ACT is 1/4 math. The SAT is half math. Half of your test is on the subject that you have to struggle with, compared to just 1/4 of it, which on the ACT has a replacement. That other quarter is replaced by science, which you might be good at or at least enjoy it. There's a way to make a comparison rather than just hearing a 5-minute video. Take a practice SAT. Take a practice ACT. There are books published. College Board puts out the official SAT study guide, Big Blue Book. The ACT equivalent is a red official ACT prep guide. In there are multiple tests which you can take. You should do it under time conditions. You can self-score them and see where your strengths and ultimately where your comparative scores lie. If you don't have a scoring table available, contact my office. We can put them together. So, the time to do it, we'll talk about in the next video, but it's never too early. if you've had even a semester of algebra, Algebra 1, you are armed and dangerous enough to make good headway on either of these tests.